think, number one, most people make fun of people, one, because they're immature.
Right.
Two, because they're mean. And three, because they just don't understand. It's usually just ignorance. And I think on the third part, when you're going into a new environment and you're stepping into a new stage of life, I think the most important thing is when you have something different about you, helping people to kind of understand where that comes from, especially if there is an explanation. For example, you saying you were born early. If you're a preemie baby, like a premature baby, there are so many things that might be different about you, different about your development, which are not bad there. And I think where we kind of feel the sadness, or people can feel the sadness, is because they're so misunderstood, and people use it as a way to kind of like project something onto your character or onto your capabilities. And so I think as best as you can, try and explain to people why your voice is like that. Like you said, like owning your story. Okay, my voice is like this because I was born way earlier than the average person is born. You know, I wasn't born at 9 months. I was born at 6 months, 7 months, whenever you were born. And explaining that to people. Now, I'm not saying you have to go through life continually proving yourself, but I do think that for the rational mind, if somebody explains to you why there's a difference about them, you can basically just understand and then accept it, and also realize that, okay, this might be a touchy subject. Let me back off. The other thing that I would say is try and lean into people who give you the celebration and the acceptance that you actually deserve. So like you said, you have your mum and your sister, but are there any other friends that you may find as you step into this new place who are like, you know what, we love you for who you are, or we accept you for who you are? Lean into that versus trying to prove to everybody that, hey, you're good enough and worthy of acceptance. Lean into the people who really celebrate you and really love you. I also think a big thing for you to do is also to continue to reaffirm yourself as much as you can. So especially as you step into a new place, I can imagine it's daunting, probably riddles you with a bit of anxiety and worry. I think it'll be important to reinforce at this stage that you love yourself and you've accepted yourself, and that you have accepted your story and you're grateful for where you are and how far you've come. I think once you become really resolved in that, people can't rob that from you. And so I would say stepping into that new space, it's important to cultivate the next level of confidence which you'll have in who you are. And I think lastly, I'll add, this doesn't mean that there won't be some bad days. This doesn't mean that there won't be people who say something about you or misunderstand you and it won't upset you, and it's completely fine to feel that upset as well. But hopefully putting these certain things in place, like leaning into the places where you are accepted, affirming yourself and developing a new level of self-confidence, hopefully will help you to bounce back a bit quicker from that disappointment or that anger or frustration. And then the actual last thing I would say is
keep it up.
Lean on the authorities. I'm very much a big
thinking
advocate of leaning on the authorities. If you're going to bully me, I hope you go to jail.
100%.
That's my North Star. It's almost like, how can I make sure this person is in prison? You know? So personally for me, I genuinely think if you can, like whatever institution you're stepping into or space, whether it's a workplace or school or whatever, lean on the authorities. You know, you've got to, the head teacher, become best friends. The head of year, the head of sixth, whatever the head of anywhere, become pals. And then if anybody does, you know, try it, just call your mate, just be like, hey, if you can't even befriend a police officer, I don't know how you want to do it. I don't know how you want to navigate it personally. Might want to become friends with a judge. I don't know.
I'm screaming. But all levels of
authority. Absolutely. So I would just do that as well, because sometimes we feel like we have to defend ourselves, but hopefully there are systems in place that will also defend us, that we should not be afraid of leaning into, because these institutions, as much as sometimes they don't work, when they do work, it is to protect things like our well-being and our safety and our health. And if you feel like that is threatened by repeated bullying, which is a crime, then you should definitely lean into those structures, in my opinion. Don't be afraid to do that. And if you're a snitch, okay, jump me dead, and then that's the highway.
That's more strikes on your that's more strikes on your
simple
record.
As go on. So that's what I would say.
I think